Hey guys, it's Ethan from Zimmer Labs, and we're going to do a video on my E11 slash D11 modified Airsoft super custom Proffieboard blaster that I just finished up. This thing is awesome. I'm super happy with how it came out, and it was very much a prototype, just kind of seeing what I could do with it to begin with. But let me run through it with you guys. Show you a little bit of how it works. To begin with, I started with an E11 blaster from Sterling Custom. I think that's the name of the company. Shoot, it's escaping me right now. But this is the Sterling Custom Airsoft all metal rifle. It's battery powered. Battery pack goes back here. The magazine is right here, and set on safety right now. Then you have standard and automatic fire, and just alone in and of itself, it's a really nice piece of machinery. It's a nice rifle. It does rapid fire like whoa. But if it's gonna be an Imperial blaster, you need some upgrades, you need some lights and sounds, and so that's what I did. Obviously, the white, everything that you see that's white is custom painted. The whole thing was just black, and I wanted to go with the black and white motif that you see on the Imperial Snow Trooper blasters. So that's why the white sections. Let's fire it up. Actually, before we get there, I'll run you guys through it. It's got a legit real scope on it. I think it's 2 times magnification, but it's a real working scope. And 100 BB capacity. There are 2 magazines that go with it. So you got 200 round capacity. And before we get to firing it up, I'm going to show you guys what I did, why I call it the E11 and the D11, because the whole back end of this is custom. I made from some extra parts I found. When I bought it, this back section was not at all a part of the deal. It was a standard E11 blaster, which means that instead of having that back section, it had this back section. So now it's a E11 blaster with the extended back section on there. It's the newer one from The Force Awakens, the D11. This is a fully working shoulder stock. Pop it loose, swing it around the back, pop it open, slide this up, and it locks into place, so you've got a shoulder stock. But the new movies have it slightly modified so that the shoulder stock stays up here permanently and the rear end is put on. And while that's, if you know anything about the actual Sterling gun that it is, you know that's just silliness, and whoever designed it in the movies didn't have a clue what the heck they were doing, because you don't add a stock to a gun that's already got a stock. But for the sake of screen accuracy, that's exactly what I did, because while I like this gun, it's quite a bit smaller, more portable, so it depends on what you're using it for. This is a good setup, but I personally really like the look of the much longer stock on it and the bigger weapon. So, as a result, I wanted to have that as an option for setup. So you have the option of displaying it or using it. It works fully 100% operational in either configuration. Let's fire it up and show you guys how it works. Just going to tighten the screw down real quick, locking the stock on the back here. There are actually 3 screws that are used to lock the stock on, but I'm not going to do them just to save some time for this video. To begin with, the electronics box here was just a simple black, what's this stuff called? Black plastic, starts with an R, I can't remember, but it's just a simple empty hollow black box. And then there are some simple empty hollow black plastic tubes up here that they used to create the look of electronics. So I went ahead and just totally modified this whole section. Here's your main power switch. There are 2 batteries here. Each one is 3.7 volts and capable of powering the setup. So in effect, the way I built it is that it runs on the one battery, and then when that battery runs low, you just click the switch over one and you have a whole additional battery ready to go. So let's fire it up. Hopefully you guys can read that. It says Trooper FN2187. And you have your battery meter right there. And we've got some indicator lights going on down here. Some additional power indicator on the side. And trigger button and main power button right here. Before we get to that, let's switch it over to the next battery so you guys can see the difference. Watch the battery charge jump up. I'll go back. Battery drops down again. That's because it's 2 separate batteries. So we'll switch over to the fuller battery and turn it on. Now it's live. And when it's live, as you'll see, got a laser sight on there because, well, why not? Why not put a laser sight on it? And the laser sight is hiding right there on the tip of the electronics box. And it's very accurate. Hopefully you guys could see that laser sight on the wall there. I don't know if that's really picking it up on the camera, but it's a nice adjustable laser sight on there, which is lined up perfectly with the scope eyepiece. So when you look through there, you're seeing the red dot right in the center. The electronics, when you power them down, the front indicator lights go from a cycling white, powered on, power up to a red, which is a heat indicator, a heat register indicator. And as you fire the weapon, it heats up. And when it hits purple, that's basically maximum heat. But this, the whole point of the setup in here is to dissipate the heat from the laser blaster. Let's shut her down again so you guys can see the startup one more time. And the startup sound is, hopefully some of you guys will catch that, but we'll do it again one more time so you guys can have a shot at getting it one more time. Oh, wrong one. There's multiple startup sounds, but of course my favorite one is, that is the proton generator pack from Ghostbusters startup sound, which of course is the best startup sound of all time. That's the screen readout. What else to show you guys on this guy? Obviously the more dramatic demo is going to be when I take it out for some field testing, which I will do a nice video on. But suffice it to say, I put a tracer inside the hopper mechanism here, as well as 2 tracers inside the barrel. So this thing shoots incredibly bright laser beams like crazy. And there are red, green, and blue tracer rounds that you can get to go with these airsoft blasters. So it depends on what you want, what color you want it to shoot. You just get the BBs accordingly. I've got the red ones and the green ones on hand that I'll do the demo video of, but that's not going to be today. That'll be later on. As far as recharging this guy goes, recharge port is right here next to the OLED screen, and when you plug it in and charge it up, it's going to charge whatever battery the switch is set to. So if you want to charge both batteries, you just charge one, then slide the switch over and it will charge the next one. So that way you've got both batteries ready to rock. What else? Something else that was important that I wanted to tell you guys about, and now I'm slipping my mind. Yeah, whatever. I'm sure it'll come to me. When you do switch out the back stock, you have a whole different world of capacity issues as far as battery goes. So the battery has to fit right in here, and there's about 2.5 inches for it to fit. There's absolutely no single battery pack in the entire world that is made by any manufacturer that will power this gun correctly. I bought the best one I could possibly find, and it melted the battery pack in the wires when I set it on rapid fire. So I built my own battery pack using Sony VTC5s. These are the only batteries that I've found that are powerful enough to handle this weapon, because they're 30 amp drain batteries. So I've got a small battery pack to go in this guy when it's in the E11 form, and then I built a massive battery pack that fills this entire stock back here. As you can see, it goes all the way to the end and all the way to the front, which has dual 2170 30 amp Samsung batteries. They're 3000 milliamp hours each, 30 amp discharge each, and then there's a secondary battery set up here, which is dual 14500 batteries, and the whole thing is built as a single pack with separate charging connectors which connect up to the weapon. One pack is for the firing mechanism, one pack is for the tracer unit, because running both off the same battery pack caused some overheating issues. So even with the best batteries that money can buy, this thing is so heavy on the juice when it's on automatic mode that you literally have to have a separate battery power for the tracer unit. And that's absurd, but it is what it is. And I remember the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about. So probably the coolest thing about this setup is that if you want to reprogram it, if you want to get in there and access the SD card or the Proffieboard that powers it all, you don't have to take anything apart. So I built a magnetic USB connection right onto the bottom. So you use one of these little doohickeys right here, and it literally just goes, sticks right on there, magnetizes, and then you plug your USB cord right into this piece, and that will jump it right into your computer, and you can have full access to the config files and the SD card and everything that's inside of there. And when you're done, just pull it off. It's like a MagSafe connector on an Apple. Super cool. Super easy. And she's loud. Inside this box I put, oh boy, what was it? I think it's a 34 millimeter premium super bass speaker that I found. I started with a 36 millimeter, but it didn't quite fit. especially considering that everything that's involved in this whole setup is located inside this box and the speaker, so you really have to be real tight how you pack the Proffieboard, the speaker, the OLED panel, all the lighting, the USB setup, all the wiring, the losing my mind here, the red tracer dot, everything has to be packed nice and neatly inside here, so there wasn't a whole lot of extra room to work with. So the best and biggest speaker I could squeeze in there was the 34mm, but like I said, it's very loud. Right. And we will come back for a field testing video of this guy in the immediate future, hopefully tomorrow. But in the meantime, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned.